Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're jumping into a technology that kind of came out of nowhere, right? And it's totally changing the game for how we find anything online. Yep, we're talking about generative AI and what it's going to mean for the future of search. So let's rewind a bit. Picture it November 2022. Something drops and bam, our entire relationship with information just changes. It felt like it happened overnight. And that something was, of course, ChatGPT. Now look at this number, 100 million. That's not a typo. That's how many people started using it in just 2 months. It became the fastest growing app in history, period. This wasn't just some hot new product. This was a sign that a huge tech shift was happening right then and there. And that explosion in popularity really kicked off a full-blown AI revolution. So if we want to get a grip on where all this is going, we've got to start with the basics. What even is this generative AI stuff? Okay, so for a long time, AI was basically a super smart analyst. It could sort data, identify things, analytical stuff. But generative AI, it's a totally different beast. It's not just looking at what exists, it's a creator. It makes something brand new. Text, code, you name it. And that is the leap. That's what lets you actually have a real complex conversation with a computer. So you got to be wondering, right? How does this magic trick actually work? Well, it all boils down to this one piece of tech, something called a large language model. You'll hear it called an LLM for short. The easiest way to think of an LLM is like a giant, super complex digital brain. And when I say massive, that's not even doing it justice. We're talking models with trillions of parameters. It can cost over $100 million just to train one of these things. It's that insane scale that lets them pick up on all the weird, subtle patterns of how we humans actually talk. Okay, look at this. This simple little phrase. This is the key to understanding everything. Because at its core, an LLM is really just a crazy, sophisticated prediction engine. So take a look. C-spot. What's the next word? What pops into your head? I'm willing to bet you thought run, right? Well, that's exactly what an LLM does. It's not really thinking. It's just playing a game of statistics, predicting the most probable next word based on billions of examples it's seen before. It's a completion machine. But, and this is the really wild part, when you do that on a massive, massive scale, it starts to look and feel a lot like real understanding. All right, so with that background, let's shift gears to the battlefield, because this technology didn't just appear in a vacuum. It kicked off a brand new war for the future of search, with the biggest names in tech going head-to-head. And the response from the big guys was lightning fast. I mean, just a few months after ChatGPT exploded onto the scene, Microsoft just stunned everyone by jamming it right into their Bing search engine. And Google, the undisputed king of search, well, they weren't about to sit on the sidelines. They announced their own version not long after. And when you look at how they built these things, you see two totally different playbooks. Microsoft and Bing went for speed. They wanted this rich, chatty experience, and they used live web data to try and keep it accurate. Google, on the other hand, much more cautious. Their version, the search generative experience, is designed to be, well, kind of boring, dry and factual. They even said it has no persona on purpose because they don't want people to get too comfortable and overtrust it. Okay, but this is about more than just a new way to Google something. These tools are like a brand new Swiss Army knife for anyone who creates content, does research, pretty much anyone who works online, really. So let's get practical. You know that feeling of staring at a blank page? It's the worst. Well, generative AI is amazing for that. You can just give it a simple prompt, like, hey, give me an outline for an article about European riverboat cruises. And boom, in seconds, you've got a full logical outline. It gives you a skeleton to work with, which is a total game changer. Or how about those super tedious, mind-numbing tasks? Like, imagine you need to translate a giant list of keywords for an international marketing campaign. Instead of hours of work, you just ask the AI. It'll do the translation and spit it out in a perfectly formatted table, just like that. It saves you an insane amount of time. And honestly, the list of uses is huge. It can help you write and fix code. It can spit out SEO stuff like meta descriptions and title tags. You can feed it a super long, dense document and ask for a summary. Or you can just use it as a brainstorming buddy to come up with completely new ideas. It's incredibly versatile. Okay, but it's not all sunshine and rainbows. This tech is incredibly powerful, but it is far from perfect, and there are some really big risks and challenges that we absolutely need to be aware of. And I think the first, most obvious question is, can we actually believe what these things tell us? How accurate is it, really? Well, let's look at a real-world case. The tech site CNET decided to experiment with publishing articles written entirely by AI. The result? They had to review them, and they found that 41 out of 71 of those articles, that's almost 60%, had factual errors. Not a great look. Yeah, there's even a special word for these kinds of mistakes in the AI world. They call them hallucinations. It's when the AI just makes stuff up. It'll state something completely false with total confidence. And this isn't some simple bug you can patch. It's a deep, fundamental challenge with the way these models work right now. And the problems go way beyond just getting facts wrong. Think about it. The AI learns from the internet, so it can pick up and even amplify all the biases that are out there. Then there's the whole copyright mess. Is it fair use to train on everyone's content? And the big one, if the AI gives someone terrible advice and they get hurt, who's liable? It is a legal and ethical minefield. So, all of this brings us to the million-dollar question, especially if you work in the online world. If AI is just going to give us the answers directly, is this the end of websites? Is SEO dead? Well, the short answer is no. A big, fat no. And the reason is actually pretty simple when you think about it. Here's the thing you absolutely have to remember. These AI models, where do they get their information? They get it from us. They are completely dependent on the huge ocean of third-party content out there on the web. Without our websites, our blogs, our articles to crawl and learn from, the AI has literally nothing to show. It's a cycle, which means creating high-quality original content is, you could argue, more important than it's ever been. But that leaves us with one final and kind of scary question to chew on. We're heading into a future where AI is going to be trained on data that was also generated by AI. So what happens when the snake starts eating its own tail? In a world where machines are just learning from other machines over and over, what happens to the truth?